Hi, gang. Hey, look at this. We have a new laptop, so I am able to get some videos done without all you seeing is my hands or whatever we're doing. So now I can actually be part of the video with you. Today I want to uh, talk about carding. Carding your wool is a critical step because a lot of times when you get wool, it's too dense or it's too lumpy or and the whole thing is you need to get that wool lined up to where it will spin really nice and make you some really great yarn. But I mainly want to hit at those who are just starting. There's a couple things that I want to point out that can help you in the process of starting. First things first, there is no wrong way to spin. Everyone spins differently. Some spin super tight and super thin, and then they put a 4-ply together, and it looks like it doesn't even exist. Some like to make it bumpy. Some like adding beehives. Some like adding jewels. There's really no way to say that this is right and this is wrong because it's not. It really depends on the type of yarn that you want to make. So no matter how your yarn comes out, it's still yarn and it's your creativity that you have made. Therefore, it's perfect. With that said, if you're new to spinning, before you go and spend a whole lot of money for a whole lot of tools that you're going to need, I want to give you a few little suggestions to save you some money and still give you the method and the options of getting your wool carded. Um, when I first started several years ago with making yarn, I actually started because my mother likes to weave. She has her floor loom right over there. And sometimes buying yarn got to be a little costly. And I'm kind of one of those people where if I can make it, I'd rather make it. You can see my paper behind me and my ribbons and, you know, into the whole scrapbook thing. But I like to make things and I like to be able to provide what I need myself. So spinning yarn was my option. And so, like many of you, I've watched a lot of YouTube videos. I have subscribed to a lot of channels, and I have talked to other people that I knew were making their own yarn. And so they gave me some pointers, which helped me to master, uh, well, not really master, but get really good at it. So I'm going to pass them pointers on to you. First things first is carding. Once you have, if you buy greasy wool, which is dirty wool, it's where it has been sheared from the sheep, and they skirt it to take out the big lumps of poo and the discardable wool for other purposes, and the better stuff is left behind, they'll skirt it and remove all that stuff and then sell you the greasy wool that's left behind. I personally prefer greasy wool because I can get more in a bulk amount for a smaller amount of money as opposed to if I buy it pre-washed and then they're going to sell it to me at an ounce and I'd rather buy it by a pound. I have two spinning wheels. I have a spindle wheel. I also have a flyer wheel, the Bumblebee, which I did do a product review on that fantastic little wheel for way cheaper money. But once your wool is washed and dry and you are ready to sit down and put it into a spinnable method, but you don't have carders. Now, I get a lot of things off eBay. A lot of times that's where I get my greasy wool from. A lot of times I buy from uh, sheep's, sheep herders and um, vendors on eBay who are out west because most of the time it's Lincoln or Suffolk wool that I purchase because I like Lincoln. Lincoln is, if you're looking to make a blanket to keep someone warm, Lincoln's going to do it. And Suffolk wool I find to be very easy to wash. It's easy to card and it's super easy to spin. Um, I can spin about probably 3/4 of a pillowcase of Suffolk wool in about 2 hours watching TV. Um, the more expensive wools like alpaca and oh my goodness, Angora. Those are going to cost you more money. So for you starting out, go with a lower cost wool, such as Lincoln or Suffolk. Take something lower. I do suggest, however, for your very first time spinning, is buy an ounce or two of roving. Now, roving is processed wool. It has been washed, it's been carded, it's been lined up, and it's perfect. And this is what we call roving. This is merino wool. Um, here's what's left of my pound that I bought off eBay. I got this for about $15 plus shipping. I think shipping was around $6, so 20 some dollars for a pound. I didn't feel that was bad. This is a creamy color, but this is merino. This is what is called roving. It's perfectly lined up. You can see that, like that. And to spin this is really super easy. So if you're going, for your very first time, I would suggest you buy an ounce of roving from whoever, wherever you choose to buy. Buy an ounce of roving and give that a shot first. Play with roving. And once you know without a shadow of a doubt that you want to spin yarn, that's where you need to start picking up certain tools. And this is where this comes in. So, my very first set of carders was slicker brushes. Yes, dog slicker brushes. Same concept as a carder. These have a rubber backing, like most of the new carders that will run you anywhere from $60, $80 for a new set. But to start, I do suggest that you get some slicker brushes. Now these are curved. You can get them flat. It doesn't matter. I did pick these up at Walmart for about $2.50 a brush. And excuse me, I've had these for about 5 years, and they're still going. I had a different set, and they did break, and my husband put a wood backing on the back of it, so I got my carder back. It's a lot smaller, way smaller. You're not going to card a whole lot of wool, but this is Suffolk, so I'm going to put this on this carder, slicker brush. I'll put this on here, and you can see that even though it's a dog brush, it still does the exact same process. It might take a little longer because of its size, and trust me, I have sat for hours carding greasy wool with these two brushes. Actually, I have a cabinet on the other side of my craft room that has 4 drawers, and it is full of wool. I'm just rolling this on the brush, and that way you come up with what is called a rolag. In wool, it is a rolag. If you are working with cotton and you roll this into a tube, it's called a punis. But with wool, this is a rolag. It's a tube, nice and round. And when you're ready to spin, you can draft this out like this, and then put this to your wheel, and it'll spin super nice. It's really a great way to do it. Now, so you have played with these, your sucker brushes, and you really got into it. You really want to get into this. Don't throw these away. Keep them, because sometimes in greasy wool, which is a way to say dirty, in greasy wool, sometimes you do come up with some really nasty little blobs, but there's some really good wool in there. And actually, I've pulled these out to clean a really bad place in wool, just to get the vegetable matter out of it so that I could card it. And they do work really good. Now, here's my suggestion. If you find that you really like to spin and you want to get into this full tilt, brand new carders, like I said, anywhere from $60 to $80 for brand new ones. My suggestion is look at vintage carders, such as these. These are vintage. These are old Whitmore patent number 8s, and they are intended for wool. When I first got these in the mail, there was a dirty handprint right here on the handle, and so I got all that cleaned off. These carders have taken a lot of damage, especially up here on the toe, and some of the teeth are bent a little bit more than they should be, but don't let that scare you off. This one over here has a spot right here where the teeth are almost flat, but not quite. Now these bad boys are absolutely priceless. And the reason they're vintage, not because, well, because it says Whitmore patent, they're old, but vintage carders have a tooth bed that's made of leather. The new carders have either a resin or a rubber bed that the needles come through. But these are made from leather. Actually, you can see some where the leather has been worn. These carders have gone through a lot of use. But I have to say, I absolutely love these carders. Now, these are referred to as flatbacks for that reason, because it is a flatback. You can get carders that have a slight curve to them, you know, like the slicker brush has a curve. You can get carders that have a curve. It really doesn't matter. The only thing that matters on carders is whether you get a wool or a cotton carder. A cotton carder has 72 teeth per inch or more, and the teeth are not bent as far as they are on a wool carder. I have tried to card wool cotton on these. It's a nightmare. So my next set of carders will be cotton, because I have 5 pounds of cotton sitting over on the other side of my craft room just waiting for me to get to it, because now that I have a flyer spinning wheel so I can short draft, I can get the cotton done. But these are vintage. Here's the cool thing about these, though. I picked these up on eBay for about $20 plus shipping, about $6.50. So $60, $80. These are already worn in. These have already been used for who knows how long. These are fantastic carders. I highly recommend that if you're looking to invest in full-size carders, don't pass up the vintage carders. You can get them for $20 to $30 a set instead of $80. Now, here's another big thing especially on YouTube, is a blending board. Now, blending board is where you take the roving like this. You take this roving. You can color this. You can color it with food coloring. You can do it with grit dye. You can do it with specialty powders and certain bases. If you're going to use grit dye or food coloring, you will need to use vinegar, which will force the roving to absorb the color. But blending boards is where you take colored roving and you stripe it on your board however you want it to look. And when you're finished, you can take a small dowel and roll it into a Rolag if you wish, or you can take a Diz and put it on the corner, and you can create roving that way. A Diz is a little small, and I don't have mine handy. I just totally forgot to get it. You can take a Diz is a little metal piece. Some people are making them out of clay and being very creative with them, and that's great if you want to buy them. If you don't have that kind of funding to do that, find a washer that has a large hole in the center, and you can use just a standard washer. It costs you, what, 50 cents at the hardware store. Use that, and there's plenty of videos on that, and I can do one later once I get some roving colored. But a blending board is there to make roving in different shades of color so that you get a variegated yarn without having to do all the hand painting. Once you're done, you've got your colors, you blend it how you want it to look, and then you create your roving, and then you put it to your wheel, and you can come up with some really beautiful, stunning colors in your yarn. Blending boards, here again, blending boards will run you about $50 to $60. I'm going to show you a much cheaper way. This is my blending board, and just, actually there's a drawing on the back. This is my blending board. This is the teeth pad that actually is a replacement pad for a drum carder. Now, a drum carder is, you can get one that is a crank, you can get one that has a motor. If you're looking to buy a drum carder, you might want to set back about $600 or more. So you can card on this. You can put your wool down here on the base, down here, and you can take this carder. I would not use the vintage carders because this is new teeth to old teeth. I would take these, and then you can come through here and card a lot more faster. Or put your colored roving here in your pieces, take your diz and start at the bottom, and then go through and make your roving. Now this is it's a piece of pine out of our wood shop. We have a wood shop out back. All my drop spindles, we've made them all. We made this. Like I said, my one slicker brush broke, and we put a wood back on it and repaired it. Next week, we're supposed to be around 55, I believe, and we're going to be out in the wood shop because I would like to experiment with some wool combs and a hackle board. And so we have purchased the spikes, the nails needed, and because I have a wood shop out back, we're going to make wool combs and a hackle. So I will get to play with that and make some really cool stuff for Mama to put in her weaving loom. But it's just a plain piece of pine. This is a junk piece of wood we had out there. And so what my husband did is he went through and he screwed it down all the way up the side. And so therefore created my own blending board. The wood was very minimal. This piece alone, just this refill for a drum carder, this piece was $40, but it's a lot cheaper than the blending board, which will run you $60, maybe more, depending on who made it. I've had this for 5 years, and the teeth on this board, look, they're still shiny. You can see the shine on these teeth. I still have a little bit of wool in there to clean out. They're still shiny. So this has lasted a long time. So you can do that. So hopefully that will help you, especially if you're new. Slicker brushes to get you started. When you're ready for actual carders, don't be afraid to look at vintage. You can get them rather cheap, and they do really well. And then look at making your own. Next week, if the wool combs and the hackle board come out, I'll be back, and I'll do a video on those and kind of help you out on how we did that. And I'm sure there's lots of videos on it, but I'll do one if you want. So hope that helps. Ask any questions. I'll do my best. Now, you know, I'm not a master at spinning. I'm learning every day, just like you guys. There's times I sit and watch videos myself just to kind of refresh, or something I see that's different, like how to apply a braid. That was pretty interesting. So I'll have to do one on that too, just to help you out. That way you don't have to hunt. So there you go. I hope that helps. I hope it gets you started. I hope you enjoy it. Please let me know if there's anything I can help with. And there you go. Have a great, great weekend and a fabulous week. And we'll see you next time.